Welcome back everyone to Welstopia, and today we are going to have to come up with a lighting solution for the Chamber of Ordeals. Now this lighting solution has to be one that will keep mobs from spawning while we are not performing any activity here, but allow for it when there is one. Now, one possibility would of course be to have redstone lighting all the way through here, but I don't exactly quite have a cheap means of getting redstone lighting, so therefore I don't think I'll be able to set that up. So instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a service room here, sort of to counterbalance this, because this, in way of symmetry, there should be another room here. And I was thinking creating a service room here that'll have some stairs that will move up to the top here, and at the top I will have some lights. Now some of the lighting will be just to light the service area, and that will be so it will not reach down below, while there will also be lights up there that will also serve below. So what you can do is go into the surface area, knock out the lights that affect below, whether that's redstone lighting with a couple of quick switches, or if it proves to be just torches that I could knock out then leave. Have no spawning up there, but plenty of spawning down here that will keep those mobs active, turn them on, and that way the mob spawner works. Now if I designed the floors properly, there will be no mob spawns except for the ones created by the spawner. And then the spawner comes up, and that means you'll go through the Chamber of Ordeals with a few zombies on your back. Therefore, the first thing I need to do is to recreate this formation over here with the room behind it. There you have it. And if we go through and up, here we are above, well in this case the fire area, and the idea there is that I'm going to be placing glass, and this glass is going to be a way where you can view what's going on below. Okay, why it wound up there, I do not know. Oh yes, I put it there. So let's continue. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hopefully I'll find out where that sound is coming from, but other than that, alright, this is the border into the earth area here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to place glass all over the fire area and make that one section. Then I'm going to use a different color of glass for the earth area, another one for the water area, and another one for the tree area. Actually, I might dispense with it in the tree area simply because, or make it higher. It's more likely I have to make it higher because right now this is only a little bit above here, but obviously I'll need something nice and high for some of the latter parts. But I think starting low is going to be good, especially for the earth area, since I am trying to get a claustrophobic feel. And here is the result. I have the red one over the fire area. I decided to keep the glass only over the parts where you could potentially have zombie spawns from the spawner. On the earth side, I decided to have the walls go all the way up and then have brown glass over the other areas. Here is the water area in blue glass, and for air I'm using the clear glass. So those are the possibilities on there. So I should be able to see now. The problem I'm having though is light levels. I'm wondering what the light level will be down, reaching down there, because by my calculations, I might be able to light all of the areas if I had torches all the way around like that. But then, of course, I don't have the ability to torch every single point, because what about this center point? Alright. The ones in the middle, I'm not too sure they're going to be covered properly because of the light factors. Let me go and do some calculations and see whether or not the light gets all the way down there, or if I'm going to have to find some other way of getting one extra point. I think that pretty clearly answers my question. There's a fourth one, I think. Yeah, they're popping up in the water area. And in fact, it popped in right there. So I suspect the others are fine, because I thought I saw one walk in there, but I think it came in from the water area. So therefore, my supposition that it barely made it looks like it was right, because I had no torch there and zombies were popping in there. So what I will do is to make sure I have them all on the cross like this. I'm going to take care of those zombies down there, and then I'll give it another try. I found out that there was one spawnable location, and that was right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw a piece of brown glass there, and hopefully that will help to reduce the spawning that's happening right on the entrance spot between the earth area and the water area. Now, another experiment I would like to try is a jack-o'-lantern. See, I think jack-o'-lanterns are reduced in how much they... Actually, I think they might follow rules in pumpkins where they can't... I don't think they can be placed on glass. Maybe I should check that out first. Yeah, right. They can't be placed on glass. So what I was thinking then is to... Alright. When they can't be placed on glass, they can't even if against something else. So they must have something below that. And that is really unfortunate, because that would have been some nice lighting. Now, I would like to have something that does not require silk touch to operate properly, which is why I was thinking about jack-o'-lanterns instead of things like glowstone, since glowstone requires silk touch in order to remove and put back on, and I don't want to depend on that being present. Right, so that idea is out. So let us then, how about just then put on the four corners, place jack-o'-lanterns. I think their light is one further out than we get on torches. And I may just extend this along when I have more of them. Unfortunately, this is all jack-o'-lanterns I have at the moment, but I should be able to make myself a little pumpkin farm and get a lot more pumpkins and be able to handle that. So now, let me go kill those zombies, make another run through, and see if now I've made the area spawn proof. So far it's quiet, and while we give that a little time to settle and decide whether or not anything's going to spawn, I do have to look at the next little problem, and that is the level of the ceiling here. As you can see, we are one too low from where everything else is. It has been a while since that last clip, but I've only had one zombie spawn since then, I don't know where it spawned, but I learned of it down here because it went onto the magma blocks and eventually died from that. I don't know the details of where it spawned at, so therefore I'm going to have to resolve that mystery later. But it looks like this is nice taken care of because I have not heard a single zombie spawn around here since then, and they used to be quite persistent before I took care of that. Now, as for this area, we do have a little problem related to the glass, as you saw in the last clip, and I'm thinking to replace this with something a little bit more, shall we say, natural. And there you have it. I've got some leaves here, and I'll be using leaves as the ceiling. That way it doesn't look out of place with the trees that are below there. Now I'll probably have to adjust the position of the couple of trees in order to make sure we have as little interference as possible. But that is overall the layout to this area, and if I want to activate it, then I just remove all of the light. Mobs will start spawning in, and I go down there and candidate goes through. Take a little time to get through here. That'll allow a couple of mobs to spawn. And then of course go through the maze, and while it's not that complicated of maze, by the time they get to here, I think a few zombies will be around. Then you'll be back into here. And in the water, you'll probably have just a few of them in there, and then you'll go up, and then up around and start jumping. Now if you jump well, then you won't have to worry about any zombies that happen to spawn down there. But if you fall down, you'll probably have to contend with them before you continue on. And there you have it. So I suppose I'm going to have to give this a spin, shouldn't I? This place is already sounding well populated with zombies, so I better get in there fast. Yes, it's already coming at me. But can it get through? Yes. Hello. So this is my first serious attempt going through here. Managed to get rid of all the lighting up there. And the real trick was doing that without getting things spawning up there. I'll have to look into that later. Now, where is everything? Oh, there it is. It's really, this is a little bit tougher with no lighting in here. Oh, good grief. I may have to adjust that somehow. But yeah, it's... Oh boy, this looks nasty. It is nasty. That's why it looks nasty. Alright. Okay, so this is rougher than I was planning. In fact, I can't see a thing! I think it's time to say oops and put up a light. Okay. Yeah. Alright, so that was... I think that means it needs a little bit of adjustment because I managed to get through that with all this. Yes, I know I don't have the top armor in the Minecraft world, but the idea is to be minimalistic with what you take when you go in through here. So therefore, yeah. That'll need a little bit of adjustment. Now, what's down here? Oh, I can see zombies down there, that's for sure. Whoa! A procession of zombies. Oh boy. And more are coming in at the moment. And I broke. Oh no, I didn't. That was a bit of a panic there. At the moment there, I thought I broke my leaves. Okay, and can I make this jump? Of course not. Yeah. I'll have to rethink that little bit of it because if the block is easily destroyed and you can't get out as a result of that, that's going to be a little bit nasty. Ah, well, I survived, but it's very much... Oh, good grief! Only by a little did I survive that one. Yeah. Oh. Woo! That was close. So let's put all this light back in here and turn off this mess. Well, the good news is my pick is healed quite a bit from all that. Yeah, this was part of my effort to make sure nothing spawned up here while I was doing that experiment, because it hit me in the last moment that turning out all the lights yeah, turning off all the lights was going to be counterproductive in the end, because I'll just get a bunch of mob spawns up here. So I think I'm going to have to rethink what blocks I'm using, because right now I've got these slabs here to prevent spawns, but I'm going to need to do better than that in the end. But I think from the point of view of feasibility, I think it went pretty well. It's just that it's going to be spawning a few more things than I expected, and I have to keep this upper part from spawning anything. So for a moment, let's put this all here, and yes, we do want our pumpkins, and I'll meet you in the nether after this thunderstorm. Between episodes, I have been working on the tunnel and getting it further and further down. I had decided to continue the north tunnel despite what I may have said in an earlier episode. And I am about 2/3 of the way through the extremely long bridge area. I thought this was going to be a very, very tough area to do, but I've already gotten past the roughest part. We had a little bit of a rise here that allowed me with the latest section, but for the most part it has been like this long way down. And I think after that it's generally better, though we do have a couple of dips here and there. And soon after that we get back into there. I think there is another stretch that I'll have to go off later on, but I have managed to make it all the way through the main one, or at least the bulk of it. So I now know how to get across these long stretches without getting killed. And the layout of this concrete area, I have to thank whoever did this, because that helped a great deal in my making of this, because it gave me a safe place to stand so that I could put the blocks up, create my framework, and the fences proved useful to use up on the corners there as something to hold on to. So the whole thing proved to be useful in helping on this, and that made the whole thing doable. Now there aren't too many exits here in this area because, well, let's face it, we've got very few people living in a place that's going to have a big long drop going down. I do have a couple of, I call them service exits. These were places where there are off areas, mainly in places that are a little bit raised up like this one. And I don't know what people would be wanting to do it for, but I noticed someone had added an extra exit just for getting off into the nether area. So therefore, if it's going off to the nether area instead of into a base, then I decided to call it a service exit. And you'll see a few of these along the North Corridor. But that's the North Corridor, and I will be taking a break from it starting in September and heading off into the next corridor. Right now I'm thinking of doing the East, and it's now time for me to start collecting resources and all that stuff, and I'm hoping to do a prismarine, a greenish tint to that one. And that'll be a welcome change, and hopefully it'll be easier to get some prismarine than it would be to getting these glowstones I have right here. Now here's the other service exit here. So you can see here. Here we are right at the beginning of the long gulf. And I don't know what is being used in this area, but this area has always existed in there, and there you go. And I think that'll make it for today's episode. When we return next time, I'm hoping to be at liberty to start on the East Tunnel, or whichever tunnel I choose in the end to be the next one to work on. And if not, then we'll be back to the Chamber of Ordeals and see if I can do some touch-ups on it to help improve my situation with the lighting. But whichever one I do, that'll be in the next episode of Pineleaf Plays Minecraft Welstopia.